All right, let's get into it. Today, we're cracking open one of the most famous and honestly most misunderstood containers in all of mythology, Pandora's box. You know, it's one of those stories you think you know, but it's so much more than just a simple myth. It's this really deep parable about our own human nature, about curiosity, and, believe it or not, about hope. So let's start with the big question. What was really inside that box? We usually just say, oh, all the evils of the world. But was it treasure? Was it some kind of forbidden power? The real answer is way more complicated, and as we unravel it, you'll see it tells us as much about ourselves as it does about the ancient Greeks.
Now, to understand the box, you have to understand why it was made in the first place. And here's the thing, the story doesn't even start with Pandora. It actually starts with a serious act of rebellion, the rage of a very powerful god, and a perfectly plotted revenge.
Okay, so here's how it all went down. It kicks off with the Titan Prometheus. He steals fire, a divine power, and just hands it over to humanity. This, of course, makes Zeus, the king of the gods, absolutely furious. He decides that mankind needs to be taught a lesson, and his instrument for that lesson, a woman named Pandora, whose name literally means the all-gifted.
So, enter Pandora. And she wasn't just any woman, oh no. She was a masterpiece of divine engineering, specifically designed to be the perfect delivery system for Zeus's revenge. Every single thing about her was a so-called gift from the gods, all of it calculated for maximum effects.
The gods all get together to give her these gifts. Hephaestus, the master craftsman, he sculpts her. Others bless her with this incredible beauty and a charm that's basically irresistible. But the final gift, the one that was truly the key to the whole plan, was a powerful, unendingly inquisitive nature. They didn't just make her beautiful, they literally engineered her to be curious.
And that right there, that's the absolute core of Zeus's trap, curiosity. You know that powerful urge to know things, to learn, to find out what's hidden? We tend to think of it as a good thing, a virtue, right? But in this story, it was weaponized. It was Pandora's most dangerous gift.
So along with Pandora, the gods send down another gift for mankind, this gorgeous, intricately carved box. But it came with one very, very stern warning. You can never, ever open it. And this warning, it wasn't just some rule to follow. No, it was the very spark that was meant to ignite this terrible war inside Pandora's own mind. So you can imagine Pandora's trapped in this awful internal battle. On one side, you have this direct command from the king of the gods. But on the other, you have that powerful, God-given curiosity just pulling her toward the mystery of the box. The stories say this conflict literally became a daily torment for her. I mean, can you even imagine that kind of struggle? And let's be real, this was a fight she was designed to lose. That very nature the gods put inside her made the temptation completely overwhelming. Eventually, her curiosity just boiled over, leading to the climax of the myth, one single action with absolutely cataclysmic costs for the entire world.
You could just picture the whole unstoppable sequence. She finally gives in, she can't resist anymore. She approaches the box. Her hands are trembling as she reaches out and touches that forbidden lock. And she probably tells herself that thing we all tell ourselves, it'll just be a peek. And then she lifts the lid.
The result was immediate. It was catastrophic. A dark, swirling cloud just erupted from the box. This wasn't treasure, and it definitely wasn't power. It was something so much worse.
Because this was the true nature of Zeus's punishment. Not objects, but these awful, malevolent spirits, the very essence of all human suffering. Greed, envy, hatred, disease, sorrow, chaos, every single plague you can imagine flew out and just spread across the entire earth, changing our world forever.
But, and this is maybe the most important part of the story, just as things get to their absolute darkest, there's a twist. The myth doesn't just end there in total despair. As all that chaos was swirling around her, Pandora's next action created an opening for one last, totally unexpected thing to emerge. Seeing the absolute horror she had just unleashed, Pandora panics.
She's horrified by what her curiosity has done, and she slams the heavy lid of the box shut. Now, it was way too late to trap all the evils that had gotten out. But, as it turns out, not everything had escaped.
Because inside that box, sealed shut by her quick reaction, there was one thing left. After all that darkness, all that misery, one single spirit remained.
And what was it? It was hope. A tiny, radiant spark, just glimmering at the bottom of the box. This was the final, most complicated piece of the puzzle. The gods unleashed all this sorrow, but they also left behind something to help us deal with it. The box didn't just contain the curse. In a way, it also held the cure.
And that's really what turns this from just a story into such a powerful lesson. Hope becomes this beacon for all of us in the darkness. It doesn't get rid of the suffering, not at all, but it gives us the resilience to get through it. The myth is basically saying that even when we're faced with every bad thing imaginable, we still have this built-in ability to recover, to endure, and to fight for something better.
Which brings us right back to where we started, to the central conflict of the story, and it leaves us with a question. Pandora's curiosity unleashed total chaos on the world, but it also indirectly revealed hope. So what is it? Is curiosity this incredible gift that drives us to discover and to make progress, or is it a dangerous curse that makes us open things that are better left shut? The myth doesn't really give us an easy answer, and maybe that's the point. It leaves us to figure out that balance in our own lives.